Yes,
by
of
the way.
course. Anyway, let's.
It's from Atari, yes? He wrote it on Atari.
Maybe that was the problem. So anyway, this whole adventure with me starts like this in 2009 when I was very young and dynamic. Beautiful. I wrote to Shiro, which I think most
Are
of
you
you
sure?
know who's the guy. Absolutely sure, yes. I wrote, Shiro, I want to make a beeper engine.
O, dzięki.
Yes, you want to answer this?
No.
Okay.
Just
I mean,
Nigdy.
this is not serious.
Ignore it.
No, we are serious demo party, so we have serious.
Przepraszam, ważna sprawa. Zabieram komuś piwo i odkupię później.
He's lying.
Fuck out
He's
of here,
trying
you
to
Atari
steal a beer.
bastard.
Okay,
So I
whatever.
think he's lying.
So, Shiro surprisingly wrote me back, and he wrote, "It's very simple. You just need to." So, for some years I did not write any beeper engines because I didn't understand what the fuck. Finally, I somehow understood some very small basics of how does it work. And of course, in my youth and enthusiasm, yes, I'm going to do a beeper engine, and I'm going to do a sine wave on the beeper, yes. And so I wrote my first own beeper engine called POW. And it has two channels of something. I don't know what it is. It sounds like this. And we have not sound. Because you put in one.
Ciszysz trochę telewizor swój od tego, od konsolki?
No, wait, because I'm stupid, we don't have sound.
Okay.
Now we have sound.
Ściszony.
Bas jest.
This it has.
Yeah.
So it can make this kind of tones.
It's great. Deep potential.
It's something like this.
Okay.
The problem is there is no actual proper tuning in these engines. It doesn't hit any notes right. It has problems with tempo. If you put a different instrument or a different note, it will be slower or faster or something like this. So actually you can use this engine in one tracker. Shiro, for some reason unexplainable to me, he implemented it in this tracker, but I would not recommend it. So I thought, okay, maybe I need to practice this a little bit more. And next year I made an engine called Reasonably Accurate Waveform Player, which sounds a little bit better.
You ported it to the calculator? Is it ported to calculator or is it only on Spectrum?
Only on Spectrum. So this is
How
this
many
is this
channels?
one. This is 2 channels. We have
Sounds like 3.
2 channels. We have
Excellent.
four volume levels per channel. So we can somehow fake wavetables a
Nie
little
wliczają
bit.
perkusji do...
A może zamiennie stosują,
Like
może to
this.
dwa grają równocześnie tylko.
But as you can hear, we have a very annoying tone in the...
Actually it was
A, czyli
nice.
to,
It's not so
czyli
bad,
to
like if you
był
compare
efekt
with
uboczny
sample
ten
tracker,
ton w
it's not
środku po prostu.
that bad.
The earlier, yes. There's the progress.
But it is not ideal. Also, again, we have problem with tones because I'm using 8-bit dividers, and 8-bit dividers is simply not a good idea
Problem
because
with
you will have
false
shitty
tones.
range.
I know.
You know this problem. So, next iteration with 16-bit dividers, finally, and also this one has a very
5
interesting.
years after a Polish crash in Smolensk.
Do apelu.
If you say so.
Don't pay attention.
Yes, of course not.
It's already junk.
So this one and this one has actually a very nice feature because you have 6 levels in total, but also on each of the 2 channels you can use those 6 levels, which means what if you use volume 6 on
Of
both
volume.
channels,
Mhm.
it will do overdrive. It will simply clip the rest.
Oh.
So you can do some nice things with that somehow.
Two channels?
Two channels.
This is Beeper.
Yes.
Can you believe?
After Team Folien, yes, I can.
Of course, this is another thing entirely.
So that's how this one sounds. And then I got
Quite
the
accurate.
yes, this one's called quite accurate. The other one was reasonable. This is quite accurate.
We are upping the ante.
Yes, and next one I made. Oh, now I'm going to be cool. Let's make 3 channels. Yes, this is going to be fucking great. And it's called yet another wave player because I was getting into the habit of making these wavetable based synthesis things.
Coś się pali tu?
And
Nadzieję, że nie.
No trochę...
this is kind of,
Alkohol się nie pali, więc wszystko inne może się zlaknąć.
it's okay, but you can hear the sound is not
Coś
really
się pali.
that clean and nice and anything.
Jebonic.
You get a lot of,
Nie, ale prosiłem cię, nie kładź piwa po sprzętu, po namiot.
like wait for the melody. You hear this? This is really, really messy. There's something's not quite right in this
Co to się jara?
thing.
Something...
So let's move on.
O, i straż jedzie.
Next, now a couple of years later.
Ty sprawdź, czy ktoś tam nie skasił
Let's
piewa
not
przypadkiem
do the
się
free
kliknęli.
channel,
Nie
yes.
chodzi.
Sorry, because something is dangerous. We have to check out if we will survive this meeting.
Aha.
It's outside!
Evacuate. Nic nie pali.
It's outside!
Okay.
Jerzy, check your car.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's
It's
smelling, huh?
outside, right?
I will close this so
You might be
No,
right.
it's not a problem. We was worried
Okay.
that it's inside.
Now it's okay. No, just open it. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it
everything
smells
is
really
okay,
bad.
yeah.
Let's close it for a little bit and then we open
Probably
it
it was
when
this one.
No,
Maybe
no.
this is
Put
your
your
engine.
nose outside and you will smell what is the problem. Something
Just
is
in case.
burning in the neighborhood.
Justin Bieber.
się pali.
I don't think it's inside. Like really, stick your nose outside. You will notice.
Nie powiedz mu,
immediately.
tylko po osiedla opalają kable na złom.
So anyway,
Yeah,
next
yeah.
one I went back to 2 channels, but there's a problem in
6
deeper engines.
years after Smolensk.
Yes.
Łukasz.
There's a problem with beeper engines. Like with AY, you get effects, you get arpeggio, and you can do slides, and you get normally in a normal tracker engine, you get all this kind of crap. And on beeper, we normally don't have this. What we do is we put the songs at a very fast speed, and that's how we make all the so-called effects. So I tried to work around this problem by adding some normal effect capability with tables like you would normally do it, and the implementation is actually not very efficient. And also I learned about this thing that you should count the cycles in your engine, and you should count the cycles between the output commands, and they should align to a multiple of 8, which I didn't know before. This is because of the contention in ZX Spectrum. So, okay.
Nie, to topas.
This or this.
Yes, that's good enough. So yeah, it has effects, right? This is the only really new thing about this one.
Oh. Again, how many channels?
2.
Here?
2 channels. Yes,
Wow.
so like this.
Nice.
And then finally I got some new idea about how to approach this. But because before I was doing it like with just have very many output commands and have a register that holds the volume level and you rotate through it kind of, and then I realized no, I should do it in a different way. I should write sort of like unrolling the code. I should, for every volume level, I should write a sound loop core, and each so that each has the outputs at a different distance, so we will get a different volume level. And with this, I was able to do 4 channels, because you have to write a shitload of the same code over and over again, just slightly different because you're moving around the output command. And so yeah, it's extremely tedious to write this kind of shit. So also there's another problem. If you have these multiple cores, you cannot really do a lot of self-modifying code, which normally we use a lot in beeper engines. So this kind of limits the possibilities that you have with this type of engine. So I stopped trying to write this shit, and I thought, no, let's not do samples and wavetables and stuff anymore. Let's look again at more traditional beeper engines, how they are made, how they work, and what we can do with that. And so there's one thing, my favorite engine probably of all beeper engines existing is the squeaker engine from Xylon, which
who is not here and we
who
hate
is not
him.
here, and we hate him because of that.
Yes, and I will send him some vulgar and aggressive email later.
Yes,
Tomorrow.
yes, very good.
And the head of the horse, of course.
So, yes. Bad.
But there's one problem with Xyloc engine. It doesn't have any drums,
Yeah.
which is a pity.
Yes, indeed.
So I thought, okay, let's take this idea, because finally Introspect explained it on the forum actually, how works this idea. I would probably not have understood myself what he's doing in the engine. It's actually a very simple idea, but you look at the engine and you don't understand what is going on. So okay, let's try add some drums, and while we are at it, let's also add some fake volume envelope, because you know how the squeaker engine works. You can put this duty setting, but it will not really change the sound that much. It's more like it will be louder or quieter. It also changes the bass amount a bit, but mostly you can use it to make it quieter or louder. So I made this Squeaker Plus engine, which of the engines that I have made myself is probably my favorite one. And also around this time, actually no, sometime earlier, I discovered that there's a very easy possibility to generate noise, for which you would normally need a random generator, so you pseudo random number thingy, which takes a lot of cycles. But I discovered a funky trick, which I need only one command that I need to insert into the loop core, and I will get pretty decent noise. So this is this engine. And this is Xyloc type synthesis, so it is very loud.
Yeah.
How much is the fish?
Yeah. How much is the fish?
Scooter.
From Germany.
From Germany.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, okay.
Wait.
This,
Wait.
there's nothing
Cut.
going on in this track. Yes, okay. We missed the good chance. Too late. So,
Yeah, it was good.
yes, I kind of fell in love with this type of synthesis. But there's another class of beeper engines which is very good. If you can read the Z80 core, like this is what we normally do. We add two 16-bit registers. We have kind of 16-bit accumulator. This generates the frequency. When it overflows, you should emit a pulse or something like that. And then we just rotate the high byte, and this is good enough to make the noise. Anyway, another very good engine is the phaser engines from Shiro,
yeah.
which can make very nice and powerful sound, and they can do this kind of sit sound if you
Sit
put
sound.
the right setting. So I
And
was
DG.
thinking, and it has DG samples. which, as I was saying, for this time I was not interested in PG samples. I meant everything in real-time synthesis. So I was thinking maybe we can take the C-log type stuff and we can take the phaser idea and we can somehow, you know, create an evil Frankenstein or something
Mixed.
from this, which I called Phase Squeak.
Okay.
And
So wise.
you have somehow, I wouldn't call it channels, you have 4 operators and you can combine them or you can have them run separately, what you want. So you can have like one channel which can make very complex effects, or you can have 4 channels which make no effects, or you can combine 2 operators, you have 2 channels that make somewhat medium complex stuff. And some other crap this one can do. Also it has these FX tables again. And hopefully it is this demo track. Yes. So this is in 4-channel mode.
For channel, yeah. Oh.
And this is 2-channel mode.
What can you say? You bitch.
This music is made by bricks.
Nice, nice.
Wyglądało tej samej zawartości.
So, well, add more crap like
We
this.
did it.
It's almost finished. Now it loops.
Good
So
one.
this is this engine.
Song.
Unfortunately, it just has mainly shitload of settings that you have to edit, and this is actually not what I like in beeper music, because I want to focus on making the melodies and not care so much about the sound. This is why I started to make beeper music, and now I make this kind of engines which sort of destroy the idea.
Yeah.
Then I did some more with the phaser idea, and I was going to get a bit technical with this shit, but I will kind of skip over that. Let's
Still
just
6 years after Smolensk.
yes, I wrote a shitload of
That was a
it
good
last
year.
Okay.
So this sounds like this.
Sounds like phaser 1.
Wait for the
Okay,
thing.
okay,
Wait for the
Ja wiem,
thing.
że Peter nie szumi, ale to jest przesada.
This part is not so interesting.
Czasami jak rzeka.
Listen to this part, because this is one channel.
This is one channel.
This is one channel at the
This
moment
is
playing.
disturbing.
It has 2 channels, but this is only one channel playing. Now it's again 2 channels playing. So because I discovered some new sort of effect, I'm not going to bother you with the technical details, but this is
why?
that I can make, that I can enhance, like from the harmonic spectrum, if it's an octave relation, I can enhance the frequencies separately. Very nice idea.
I'm afraid you're dangerously insane.
No.
As I was putting the picture in the beginning, and then end of the year I was like, okay, I think I'm through with the thing. I kind of did everything. And comes Toshiro, and he's like, hey, did you know that you can control the pulse width but by using the phaser method? Okay, why would I want to do that if I can do it the normal way? So some boring, yes, this is more or less what I literally said. The phaser method is very slow. To make a normal duty control on the beeper is quite easy. You add this counter, you compare it against the threshold level, and if you're above it, you switch the output on, and if you're below it, you switch it off. With phaser is very different. It looks